Hi friends, thanks for joining me. I am using the February Fox box for Bramble Fox today, and I'm combining that with the December kits from Hip Kit Club, and I have it in my mind to scrap a great big ticket, and I created this cut file for Hip Kit Club for their February cut files, and I really love how it turned out, so I wanted to share that with you. So first of all, I'm going to lay down some colour onto that big white ticket that I've cut out on my silhouette. And the cut files that I created had a couple of versions. So I just removed the star from the original, just because that's where I want to place my photo. And I'm going to use some of the gorgeous shimmers that we've got in previous hip kits. And this one is called Mango Tango, and it's actually a Vibes. And it's when it dries, it's a kind of a pinky orangey colour, but it's more a peachy pink. So it's really, really pretty. And as you can see, I applied some to some cellophane, and then I've laid that onto the background. And then I tend to use a paintbrush to move that about, mainly because I can't use sprays, they just go everywhere. So I just like the control that you get with a paintbrush. So for me, the key is to create some layers, just so you've got a bit more depth and interest. I'm using Cotton Candy and Sweetheart in this little area too, and they're all shades of pink. And to be honest, if I'd probably let them dry and laid over them again, I could probably get away with just a couple of colours. But as you can see from my swatches there, I've been collecting these over the past 12 months from Hip Kit Club, and I find shimmers the easiest to use. I just absolutely love them and have that lovely shimmer to them, hence the name, I guess. So they're just really lovely in real life. So having done that now, set that aside, and I'm going to turn my attention to what I'm going to do for the rest of the layout. And I'm going to scrap a picture of my dog, because he's the only person who doesn't complain about having his photo taken. Although as soon as he sees my phone come out, he does turn the other way. So maybe he's getting the idea now, actually, he doesn't want his photo taken either. He just had a groom at this point, and a little treat in my hand made sure that he paid attention, because he's a little monkey, bless him. Absolutely love him to pieces. And then when he has his groom, it's kind of the only time when he doesn't smell awful and shaggy. He's such a scruffy little pair, bless him. I absolutely love him to pieces, as we all do. So that's kind of how I imagined. I've got this, and I don't know why I wanted a ticket, but I have this great big ticket in my head. I'd done a layout recently with a big tag for Hip Kit Club, and that absolutely was one of my favourites I've made for such a long time. And so I thought I could do the same with a ticket, and I think that's where the idea came from. So anyhow, so I'm going to make a start, because I'll faff around if I don't stick down. So I think I'm going to put something in place, a bit of stamping first on my background. So this is one of my favourite little stamps. It's from All and Create. It's just has a little bit of texture on there, so a little bit of script, a few little hearts, and I just ink up edges of it, and then I don't know if you could see there, but I roll that onto the background just so it's a little bit distressed, not very neat at all. And I think I stamped in aged mahogany, so Victorian velvet that was, so it's just a kind of a dusty pink colour. So now I've got my ticket in place. I was going to use that piece there, that it was a bit left over in my pocket life, and realise now that I've stuck it down too far, so that's not going to work. So instead I'm just using some of the pocket life cards, and they're just going to be layering pieces. I don't actually do pocket life myself, so I love them for matting and layering, or journal cards, or in this case, turn them into a tag. I do have lots and lots of tag dies, but I can never be bothered to go and grab them out, so I tend to take an existing tag just to use them to get the right angles, and then just snip off the edges, as you can see there. I also have to admit to having one of those tag cutting things from We Are Memory Keepers, which actually does a great job, and I used to use it a lot, but something fell apart on it, so it didn't last very long, unfortunately. So good old trusty method of just using a tag as a template. So the tag, because it is white, does need a bit of definition. If I was any good with my sewing machine, I would have probably sewn it, but instead I'm just going to outline it in black. And in the end, I do go around twice because I've used a very fine liner, and I think it just needed a bit of extra, little bit of oomph to give definition. So now I've got everything in place, it's just really a case of embellishing. So I've kind of speeded things up just not to bore the pants off you. You can see I am going to remove the vinyl from the back of my perspective there, so the Adore You. Lots of perspectives come with vinyl on both sides, by the way. I do see sometimes people have forgotten to remove them, and you're missing out on so much because they're so pretty once you've got that vinyl off. You can leave the vinyl on the back if you want to, but my particular glue, sometimes it just comes off if I leave the vinyl on, so I do tend to remove mine, unless it is a frosted one. And sometimes I like the white background just to give it a little bit more oomph. And you'll see that later when I've used a piece. So I fussy cut all those flowers from one of the papers in the December kit. Those flowers on that particular paper are absolutely stunning. So if Kim and Kimberly are listening, can we have them again, please? Honestly, they're the prettiest flowers I've ever seen on a piece of paper, so they definitely get my vote. And I'm just messing around with the placement of the leaves. So I've first cut lots of different elements, and I think it's just a case of layering them up now until you get a suitable arrangement. It's one of my favourite things to do. So in the shop this month, in the Bramble Fox shop, you get these little, I've called them Clippies, I didn't know what else to call them, but they're like a bulldog clip, but I just love things that you can put on top of your photo, and then especially things that you can thread through, so that was the purpose of those. And this is one that I created for February, and it's a little bit more love inspired. And I, off camera, also threaded up some twine, added a few bits and pieces, and finally I decided that I'm going to add a bit of interest on that right hand side there. So I've just torn a little piece right by that flower cluster and rolled back those edges. And then what I'll do is I'll back it with some pattern paper. And I think it just gives it a nice little place to have things poking out. So even though I own Bramble Fox and have lots of access to beautiful goodies, I never seem to be able to find what I'm looking for. You know, they're probably up where I take my photos or in my stash somewhere. So yeah, I'm a bit hopeless. So I tend to work with the thing I found. So it's not very logical, I know. But those beautiful little sweetheart tokens, they're really big in the UK, especially for weddings. But I don't know if you've seen them, but they're little round sweets, and they have little messages on them, and just adorable. So it's something I've been dying to do for a very long time. But that more or less is going to wrap things up. I'm going to leave you with the close-ups, and hopefully you've really enjoyed the process. If you want the cut file, you can head over to the Hip Kit Club file downloads, and you'll find them there. I think you have to be a subscriber, so if you could also go and check out the kits, and you'll find that you can go and subscribe. If you really like the perspective there, that's on the Bramble Fox February kit. So that will be available until the 3rd of February if you want a subscription. But I'm sure that will hit the shops very soon. I'll leave you with the close-ups, and if you are interested in the Fox box, you can have a look at the links below. It's a beautiful kit that you get each month for just £13 plus shipping. So thanks for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like it, you could give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Take care. Bye now.